So the first subdosha that we'll pay attention to is Pachaka Pitta. And the first term which stands behind Pachaka Pitta is the fire that digests food. Then those studies tell us about the place, the location of Pachaka Pitta. And they say that it is located in the small intestine and in the stomach. But a smart researcher will notice that this is not just the location of Pachaka Pitta, but the process which it guides, and it guides the digestive power of the stomach and intestine. So if we talk about Pachaka Pitta from the physiological point of view, we've agreed that we will associate it, first of all, with the gastric juice. And during one day, a human stomach produces 2 to 2.5 liters of gastric juice, which is highly acidic. And it is so aggressive that if there were no protection mechanisms in our body, it would dissolve all the organs inside. And about those protection systems, we'll be talking in our next lecture, where we will tap on Klidaka Kapha basics. Now let's try to understand why we call our gastric juice a fire of digestion. First of all, it consists of hydrochloric acid, but we need to understand that there are other enzymes containing it. First of all, those enzymes are in charge of this. An adult human releases enzymes which only influence the protein part. And in our stomach, the food is not digested. There is only a preparation stage going to preparation stage for the digestion of the proteins. So there is a stage of preparation of molecules of proteins in the stomach, not the digestion. And the second part of Pachaka Pitta is the regulation circle, which is connected to the nervous system. So the main part of the nervous system which is connected to the gastric juice is a vagus nerve. Vagus can promote secretion directly or influence through another enzymes, or for example gastrin. And a very serious role in the regulation of gastric secretion is played by gastrin enzyme. As I said, gastrin is produced in the very far part of the stomach by G cells. Thus, our stomach is a very, very powerful gland which produces hormones, and the main of which is gastrin. And it is not right to treat our stomach as an organ which only produces gastric juice or just digests food. It is a very complex organ with different functions. And very often, such disorders like gastritis are triggered by the dysregulation from the side of those nervous processes. That is why in treatment of such disorders, it is very important not only to influence the level of hydrochloric acid. It is very important to influence the nervous part of your body and nervous and endocrine processes of your body with certain medicines. So histamine, it is the third mechanism of regulation, which is not only connected to allergic processes, but it also takes part in those serious, complex regulation processes. And to finish with this part of description of Pachaka Pitta, I'm going to tell about one more important hormone. This hormone is called somatostatin. It is also produced into the antral zone, the same as where gastrin is produced. And the health of the stomach is determined by the state of those two hormones, somatostatin and gastrin. In fact, many of you might know that the bacteria which parasite on the mucus lining of the stomach are connected with the ulcer disease. But not many people know the way how it is happening. And it happens so that these parasites, these bacteria, is disbalancing somatostatin and gastrin. It breaks down the balance between those two hormones. They influence these cells with toxins, and its amount is falling down. Thus, the gastrin takes over, and the production of gastrin increases, thus giving you the ulcer. For the users of Vetapulse system, it is highly important to not only evaluate the Nidan tab and, of course, Subdosha tab, but it is important to evaluate it in connection with the Meridians tab. On this slide, I'm giving you a very pragmatic information which helps you to understand the health state of your patient. And if you see that Pachaka Pitta is disordered, and it is also connected to the disorder in the third channel meridian, you can understand that this is connected to the disorders of gastric secretion. And for example, if you see high Pachaka Pitta and tension in the third channel, it can be connected with hyperacidity and the excess of those enzymes which we were talking about. And at the same time, low Pachaka and the reduction of energy in the channel of the stomach can be the sign of hypoacidity. Of course, there can be intermediary cases, but you need to treat them according to the symptoms of your patient. To finish the description of Pachaka Pitta on the level of physiology, let's sum everything up. So, Pachaka Pitta has two components. The first one is regulatory component, and the second one is efferent component, which actually have the direct action on your body. Regulatory component is connected to certain hormones, and the nervous process is happening in the stomach. And let's analyze this from the point of view of indices of Vetapulse. If we see a disorder in Pachaka Pitta, which is connected to the disorder in the fourth channel meridian, of the which is connected to the pancreas, then we can basically tell that this is a disorder of pancreatic secretion. And in particular, high Pachaka and tension in the fourth channel is a sign of the pancreatitis. And at the same time, the decrease of Pachaka Pitta and decrease of in the fourth channel meridian can be the sign of changing of the profile of these hormones, and which can lead to insufficient secretion. So let's sum it up. Pachaka on the level of the small intestine. It also has two components, which is regulatory and efferent. Regulatory component is connected to certain hormones, main of which are secretin and cholecystokinin. And efferent component is connected to the contents of the pancreatic juice or the enzymes of pancreatic juice. But in the small intestine, there is one more secretion which is actively working, and it is called the bile. Without the bile, many processes would not happen if the bile wasn't there. The bile is excreted to the with the secrets of the small intestine to the small intestine, and together with the pancreatic secretion, it contributes to the breaking down of the fats. The bile is a very complex component, and the main part of the bile is bile acid. Around 1.5 liters of the bile is produced in the body of the average person. And bile acids are the very precious component which our organism is trying to perceive, to contain. It is produced in the liver in the amount of 0.5 grams per day. And 95% of the bile acids are returned into our system and again excreted by our liver. And one of the main functions of the bile is its importance in the process of breaking down of the fats and with absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E is not possible. The bile controls all our settlers of our intestine or bacteria and leaves only those which do not have negative effect on our bodies. But the bile also helps us to excrete the unnecessary substances from our bodies. For example, the products of hemoglobin breakdown, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. On this picture, you can see those drops of bile acids which surround lipids and then break it down into hydrophobic parts, and then those hydrophobic parts turn into hydrophilous parts, which make the drops of fat soluble. And without this, the process of fat breakdown is not possible. Not many people know that the process of bile production is permanent. It doesn't matter whether we sleep or eat or work, the production of bile is constant and permanent. There are only certain processes that can intensify the process of bile production or slow it down. And the bile is contained into the bile bladder, and it is released during certain processes. For example, the process of eating. And the main stimulator for the bile are bile acids themselves. That is why Chinese people are including bile into the medicines which treat problems with the gallbladder. But let's return to the indices of Veda pulse. If we see a disorder in Pachaka Pitta and it is connected to the disorder in the 11th channel in the meridians, then it is a sign of the disorder of bile secretion. And the stress in Pachaka and tension in the 11th channel can be the sign of cholecystitis. All other processes, the reduction in the index of Pachaka Pitta and reduction in the 11th meridian, can be the sign of dyskinesia.